session, we're going to take a deep dive into the massive investment in stadiums and infrastructure for sports and how it creates lasting positive changes that benefit the city, its residents, and the national economy for decades to come. Joining me on stage, we have Mai Alhelabi, Chief Executive Officer, Local Organization Committee, Asian Cup 2027. We also have Turki bin Oudah, the General Manager of the Royal Commission for Riyadh City. Thank you both for joining me in this session. We'll dive right into our first theme, which is macro vision, convergence of strategy. And I want to dive deep into the Asian Cup 2027, more specifically with you, Ms. Mai, to start off with. We often speak about these major tournaments in isolation. How do we ensure that tournaments such as the Asian Cup 2027 is not just a standalone event, but a unified milestone that services the distinct mandates of Riyadh's urban growth and Saudi Arabia's tourism goals?
Thank you, Lama. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start my session today by thanking World Football Summit for having me in this panel. It is a great honor and for their hospitality as well. I would like to extend a thanks to all the attendants today, the sector supporters, colleagues and friends as well, and also to you, Lama and Turki, for sharing this panel with me. So for AFC 2027, we don't work in silos. So how we will be able to make this remarkable, and this affects not just the stadiums, outside the stadiums. So we look at ourselves as we will be delivering the operation and the experience for the fans. However, we're not going to be doing this just ourselves. We are partnering with more than 65 different government entities and private sectors within Saudi Arabia that they will help us to provide this unique experience. So it's not just what happens in the venue, it will be everything outside the venue that is related to culture, entertainment, logistics, and all other sectors.
Brilliant. It's almost like those partnerships create a domino effect that extends beyond the tournament for legacies to come.
Definitely, 100%, yes.
And Turki, I want to jump to you, the similar question. How do we ensure that the Asian Cup is not just a standalone event, but it contributes to Riyadh's urban growth and tourism future?
Sure. First of all, thank you for hosting us on that great event. It's a pleasure to be part of this great panel and share it with you, Lama and Mai. And I think, as Mai mentioned, I think the secret behind all of how we tackle these challenges in hosting these events, and we make sure that these events are not standalone, is our unified engagement that we have between us as stakeholders. And these events, such as the Asian Cup 27 and the FIFA World Cup in 34 and Expo, as an example, are a great examples of the ability of the city of Riyadh of hosting these events in appropriate plan and making sure that the plans of these events are connected, and there is an experience on the event and outside the event. And our role as maybe as a Royal Commission of Riyadh City, we lead and we orchestrate and lead the strategic development of the city of Riyadh. And it's important that we work with our allies in the ministry, for example, within the sports landscape, to ensure how is the experience for the citizens and for the visitors beyond the tournament footprint. How is the mobility? How is the connectivity? And how are the public spaces? So all of these elements are crucial to have that events that are harmonized at a city level and that they don't have a standalone plans for sure.
That's brilliant. And I like that you brought up infrastructure, because we're going to dive into logistics and the challenges in the next part of the questions. But Mai, I want to jump back to you. Let's discuss the most important part of football, the fan experiences, of course. Beyond the refurbishment of stadiums and the new ventures and venues, how is the 2027 LOC redefining the fan journey? Are you looking at a seamless experience that starts from before and after the stadium, and how do you create that?
Okay, so fans are our #1 client group. Okay, so we are creating all the services to provide them seamless experiences, not just in the venue, but outside the venue. So it's not just about the 90 minutes that they will attend the match. We would like, and we're developing a journey that will not only start from when they attend the match, it's from they arrive until they depart. So Saudi Arabia has a unique feature for this tournament. So it's the first country in Asia that will host 2027, and we have 8 countries that we share border by land from Asia. So this is one of the unique things that we will capitalize on. We would like to provide them with different experiences that will start from the moment they would like to come to Saudi, experience the different heritage sites, the different tourist sites, the different entertainment and activities that all the other ecosystems are providing. We would like them to experience on their way Riyadh season, Al-Khobar, Jeddah, Al-Ula, and all the other attractions, and also provide them with an experience in the stadium that is unforgettable. Digital, Saudi Arabia is very focused on digital as well, so we are building a fan ID. This digital platform will provide all the spectators and the visitors a seamless system that will give them everything they need, from the moment they think of attending to all the way when they go back home and capture all those memories.
That's brilliant. So it's a seamless process from what you're listening to. So people are walking in, they're not just here for a match, but they're leaving with a sense of heritage of what the kingdom has to offer. It's a lasting memory.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. Turki, I want to jump to you. I want to discuss how you navigate these major events at the RCRC. So as you know, Riyadh is not just a host city, it's a living metropolis. How do you view these mega events? For you, are they logistical challenges that you have to navigate, or are they opportunities to accelerate for the broader Riyadh ambitions to increase the city's livability?
Yeah, for sure. I think through the last decade, us as a country and as a city, we proved the ability of hosting major tournaments, as Mai mentioned. And I think also we managed through that years to develop our skill set and knowledge in hosting these events, motivate the supply chain and the private sector, and that's a very crucial for the ecosystem. And hosting the previous mega events in temporary venues also has a logistical challenge where we tackle properly, and that's an added value for the industry, that we have a more skill set, as I mentioned. Now we are entering a new decade, a decade where we start now to see the delivery of the major infrastructure that is being developed, and that is going to host the coming mega tournaments. And I think when we look at the next 8 years towards the World Cup and the Asian Cup, we have also the Expo 2030 and the World Cup and the Asian Games 2034. The city, from an infrastructure perspective, is going to be ready, and from a mobility perspective and from an urban fabric point of view and from a logistics, for sure it's there. And I would like also to mention an important point. For a city that is rapidly growing fast as Riyadh, with a population today, we are above 8 million and expected to grow further. I would say that the challenge that we have as a city is that we are witnessing a huge number of urban developments that is going in the same time. And the challenge would be in ensuring the alignment between the plans of these developments together. How do they serve? How these facilities and the plans of these projects serves the city and the residents and the visitors beyond the tournament. And that's something that we give attention to as a Royal Commission, working with our colleagues from the Ministry of Sport, but not only in the sports landscape, in different sectors. So the Royal Commission is from its mandate as an orchestrator and leading the strategic development of the city, we are engaged in more than 35 sectors. And sports is one of these sectors. And when we look to sport, we look at sports from 360 lens. How is the mobility to these venues? How are the stadiums are connected to the public transport to ensure the efficiency of using these facilities beyond the tournament? And again, talking about the challenge, like hosting these mega events in the last 8 years, while the public transport was not there, where we witnessed last year the activation of Riyadh public transport, and today we are celebrating of more than 100 million rides. It's a big enabler for the city, and I'm sure that we're going to witness more success in the coming years.
I mean, it's guaranteed. May I want to jump to you and discuss the legacy programs you hope the Asian Cup will leave behind. As we know, a true catalyst changes the landscape for the participants. With the massive investment that we're seeing for sports in Saudi Arabia, is there a parallel in legacy programs attached to 2027 to ensure that the training sites and facilities benefit the next generation of athletes and grassroots academies here?
Okay, definitely. Legacy is part of our overall strategy. And when we talk about legacy, it's not something that we would want to measure after we deliver 2027. It is within our daily activities. Because legacy is everything and what we do. Infrastructure, everything we're doing to upscale the infrastructure and provide the right venues for the teams, the visitors and the spectators will provide more for the community, for the teams, for the sport itself. A lot of those venues that we're starting, that we're hosting our tournament in next year will be in World Cup 2034. So 4 of those venues is going to be in the World Cup. So we will start operating them from next year, inshallah. Also for the human capital, we're training our employees. We're training the teams to excel with the operation. By next year, we will be delivered 5 tournaments with the AFC. Elite, under 17, and our big event in a month, under 23, hopefully. It's going to be a massive, massive success, inshallah. Also, I would like to mention myself. 8 years ago, I got this amazing opportunity to start, me and my colleagues, to start working in sports events. And we are now all serving in different sectors in the sport with bigger mandates.
That's brilliant. I think I was speaking to some of your colleagues backstage, and they told me you've successfully hosted over 100 events.
Exactly, it's 100 events. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Turki, let's jump to you. I want to talk about what happens after we hear that final whistle. Infrastructure is the backbone of any tournament, as we know. How is RCRC ensuring that the integration of stadiums, districts creates permanent and vibrant community hubs rather than just white elephants that we see sitting there empty?
Yeah, that's a very important question, and I think again, and it's a point of focus for us at the Royal Commission, that we ensure that all these facilities serve the communities, or whenever they are sports or cultural or entertainment, and we need to work closely with our colleagues from these existence. But would like to give an example here. Let's talk about the major facilities. So in stadiums, we worked with the Ministry of Sport and the King Salman Stadium, which is going to be the largest stadium in the kingdom with over 92,000 capacity of spectators. That's going to host the opening and the closing match for the FIFA World Cup. The stadium is located an iconic location in Riyadh. It's a part of the King Abdulaziz Park, which goes across 4.5 million square meters. So we work closely with the ministry through the stadium's master plan, how to ensure that the stadium is connected to the park, to the King Abdulaziz Park, and to the surrounding area where you have the expo on the northern plot. And through that exercise, we developed an activation plan where we ensured how we can make the stadium activated 365 days around the year. So we did a deep analysis, and we looked into international best practices, and we looked into the stadium's context and the surrounding needs. You have the Princess Noor University, you have the park, you have the expo, and we developed an activation plan where we have an activating elements for the stadium itself through the event days, and non-event days where we highlighted some permanent activations. Another example, for example, we worked with the ministry is the Prince Faisal bin Fahd Stadium. This is another stadium located in important part in the city center in Malaz area. A lot of urban development is going around that area. We work closely with the ministry to ensure the link between that stadium and King Salman Park, as an example, where the residents and the visitors of Riyadh can have pathways and pedestrian connectivity from the King Salman Park all the way to the stadium. And this maximizes the fans' journey for sure, and that's our role as a city level, where we support the venue owners on maximizing the efficiency of these venues beyond it, and make it more efficient and more valuable for the operators.
No, and it's something we're definitely looking forward to seeing in the future and utilizing if it's in the...
If you allow me, Lama, maybe one point to add here. We also conduct as a Royal Commission an annual exercise of defining the supply and demand for the for the residents of Riyadh. We understand that the residents' need. For example, we would find the different needs from the residents in different districts, and this survey guides the development of the plans and the master plans of the projects that we're doing. For example, the Green Riyadh project, which is also one of Riyadh mega projects, is developing more than 3,000 parks and more than 120 neighborhoods in the city of Riyadh. A big number of these parks has sports facilities, community sport facilities. We're not talking about stadiums now, we're talking about community needs. And we are guiding the designers of these parks through that supply outcome, supply and demand, where we understand what the need of the community and what kind of pitches or sport facilities they need to have in these districts. So that's a very important point that we are working on at the moment.
Well, so you're listening to the public, you're listening to the districts and seeing exactly what they need and creating that for the public.
That's the way to make it work.
It's brilliant.
That's the only way to make it work.
It's brilliant. Mai, I want to jump back to you on the topic of local organizing committee readiness. Hosting the Asian Cup is a massive undertaking, and you're effectively setting the operational prototype, as we like to say, for the 2034, I'm jumping way too in the future, 2034 World Cup. How is the local organizing committee readiness preparing now?
Okay, so we're ready. We are ready. Saudi has been the hub for global sports events for the past 8 years. And we prove records. We hosted a lot of events as we have been doing it for decades. Riyadh will be hosting 5 stadiums. So Riyadh is the biggest city. So going back to the readiness and supply and demand of the city. We're working as well in terms of the local organizing committee on developing all the capabilities needed, finalizing all our plans, our strategy, aligning with all the government entities. Everything is in place. Next year, we're launching, in January, we're launching our brand. So stay tuned for the brand reveal. Also, on the 11th of April, is going to be the final draw. So we're going to see who's going to be playing, the teams who's going to be playing who against who, and which group stage, and which stadium as well. So it's also a major milestone for us.
It's Brilliant. And Turki, I think we spoke about this very briefly about the lasting impacts and positive legacy for the local community. But I want to ask you if there are other examples. With mega events and its infrastructure developments, they often have large-scale impacts on the local residents, as you said. How does RCRC factor in future-proofing for major infrastructure, ensuring that the local residences are left with positive legacy components after the major tournaments are completed?
Yeah, so you know, there are also a community demand, and there are also plans to increase the grassroots sports, and these requirements would need these kind of facilities, which is coming in the pipeline, as I mentioned, and we have to make sure that it serves the community need, it serves also the grassroots sports needs, and the professional athletes' needs, and Riyadh is making big strides toward that. I would say that we are few months away from finishing the first decade of that big transformation since the vision announcement, where we have a big focus also on sports, and we witnessed big projects and events that has been delivered in the last 10 years, and I think there are more to come. And the acceleration of the delivery of these facilities, which is coming in the pipeline, will further facilitate the future needs for the citizens of Riyadh. We also want to highlight that Riyadh has a unique demographics, where we have 60% of our population are youth, and they are under the age of 30, so they have that big interest of sports. So understanding the needs of the community, understanding the need of the sports, will ensure that we have a proper plan for the future. We have the right venues for the operators to operate, and we can also increase the grassroots sports, and we can also prove that we are a regionally leading sports city in hosting these major tournaments.
Yeah, that's brilliant to see. May, I want to jump to you as kind of to close our little session. I work in news, so headlines are my bread and butter. I want to ask you in one sentence, when the world leaves Saudi Arabia after the Asian Cup 2027, obviously they will come back for tourism, but when they leave in Asian Cup 2027, what is the primary headline you want them to write about it?
It was the best edition ever. It was uniquely Saudi.
Uniquely Saudi. That's brilliant. And Turki, in closing, I want to ask you, by the time the final match is played in 2034, what is the one change in the urban fabric of Riyadh that you are most excited for international visitors to see?
Well, where you have these mega projects that we all know already, Dir'iyya and PIF projects, and the King Salman Park, the largest urban park worldwide, a green city with more than 7 million trees, a unique sport boulevard that it's one of a kind, a unique 8 stadiums that has its own design, context, and harmonized with its surrounding, a world site like an expo, and I think Riyadh is no-brainer that Riyadh is the right place to be, and it's just a pleasure and honor to be part of that journey and witnessing that changes. I think it's a pleasure for stakeholders, for residents, or also for visitors and our guests who come to the city regularly and see these changes. We are very excited to see the changes because Riyadh is already changing. We are completely in a different position for comparing to a few years ago when we see the urban changes in the city. We see the greenery all around. And for sure in 2034, Riyadh is going to be in another standard.
I couldn't agree more. Turki, May, thank you so much. Please give them another round of applause. Brilliant session. Thank you so much for your time. Brilliant session.